Hello. Okay, so we're back with the final sort of prep job I need to do before getting the new parts, and that is to remove the old bearing on the clutch gear. Now, technically I don't need to do this because this bearing wasn't causing a problem with the MOT, but I thought, well, seeing as I've got the whole thing apart, we might as well swap all the bearings for new ones. They're not that expensive, and at least they can all go back together knowing it's all shiny and new. Now, the problem is getting this bearing off the clutch gear. Now the recommended way is a hydraulic bench press, which I don't have because I don't have a garage and I don't have one of those in my spare bedroom. I've got a friend up in Fife who very kindly offered to do this for me. He has one. He was even talking about putting the bench press and the hydraulic press in the back of his car and bringing it down, but what with COVID restrictions and working shifts and all this kind of thing, it's fiddly to organise, and frankly it seems a lot of effort for him to do, which is, you know, it's much appreciated, but I can't help feeling there's some way I can get this off myself. So what I'm going to try and do today, while I'm briefly at work, is I'm going to try and create a sort of mini hydraulic press just without the hydraulic bit, and we're going to try and use a vise, some large clamps and a bit of scrap metal, just to see if I can press this bearing off myself. So this is another one of these DIY Heath Robinson ideas for those that don't have hydraulic presses and access to a sort of full garage. So anyway, I'm going to set it up, show you what I'm doing and see if it actually works. Okay, so the clamps are on the vise, metal bar across the top of the gear, and now we're going to push down and just see if this works the same as a hydraulic press and push this bearing off.
What's that? What?
Well, with a bit of help from my trusty colleague, to tighten one side, that came off. Absolutely delighted with that. So that is the bearing off the clutch, not using a hydraulic press, not paying a garage to do it. So now we're going to move on to putting the new bearing on, which hopefully won't involve the press idea. So the next part is to fit the new bearing onto the clutch shaft. Now, you could use a press if you have one. I could probably use the improvised press that you saw me remove the old bearing with. I may even have to if this doesn't work. But what is recommended is the clutch shaft goes in the freezer for at least 24 hours. And what we're going to do next, follow me over here, is we're heating up the bearing for half an hour in the oven. You can see that in there, and that's going to heat up at about 180 to 200 degrees. We're going to leave that in there for half an hour, and then we're going to come back, we're going to take that out of the oven, and hopefully the very hot bearing will slide nicely onto the very cold clutch gear, and job done. Right, so we're just going to take this has been in for about 30-40 minutes. So out comes the bearing. Out the freezer comes the gear. Very cold, and one should be very hot. Let's just see if this is going to drop on here. And that is exactly what you want. Drops right on, no problem at all. So now we just let that get back to room temperature, and that should be on there nice and firmly. So that is a great success. And that's basically all I need to do now until the new parts arrive. There is nothing else I can do. This obviously has to fit into the new crankcase. Not crankcase, the new swing arm. So when the new swing arm arrives, we'll be fitting this in. We'll chill it down again, heat up the crankcase, the swing arm a bit, and we'll fit this on. But that's still to come because I need the new parts. So that is it. New bearing on the clutch gear. Fantastic.